What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today I thought it'd be interesting to go back over some of the stuff I tried in 2022 and say it was my favorites and see if I have used any of them this year or not. So I was inspired by Angelica Nikovic, or Angie, here on YouTube to do this video. I saw Morgan Turner did it too, but Angie's who inspired me, but I didn't want to leave Morgan out because I do watch her and I'm subscribed. So without further ado, let's get into it. The crazy thing is I used more complexion products from last year, this year, than I did with my eyeshadow palettes. But I mean, like, you gotta think how many eyeshadow palettes I have and how many eyeshadow palettes come out and how many eyeshadow palettes I review. So I think I did a pretty good job considering how many eyeshadow palettes are in my collection and how, you know, many I have to rotate throughout the year, in addition to trying out the new things that I buy to review for you all. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna start off with my Adept Cosmetics Nocturnal palette. Y'all know this is one of my all-time favorite palettes from this brand. So she is one of the ones that get to use the most. As you can see, it's quite, you know, like dirty and whatnot, but you know, she's gorgeous. I love this color story. I feel like this would pair nicely with the new palette that's on my eyes right now. Matter of fact, I didn't tell you I was on my eyes right now. Sorry. I feel like this would pair good with the Glen Bunny Machina palette because I feel like it has some of the tone. It has a few of the tones in there. And this is just like a condensed version of that without the like grays and the blues. So I feel like this could actually pair, sorry, not the blues, the grays and the pinks, because it has the purples in it and it doesn't have the pinks and the reds. But I feel like this is that color story without those tones, and I feel like this would work nicely with that palette. But y'all, I love this palette, okay? I've told y'all before, look at look at Glaminatrix Cosmetics palettes. It's quads like this if you can't figure out a look, and now see how much easier it is for you to like come up with looks. You got your neutral quad, you had your fun blue purple quad, and then you had your wild card quad. And if you just take the palette out, then it looks like this. But I really love this palette, which is why it was one of my favorites of 2022. And then I turned around and used it some more, girl, because yes, I was here for it. It's a vibe. And the next one, y'all know I love this brand. This palette dethroned another palette, and then every time they come out with another palette, it gets dethroned by the palette that just came out. So like, I feel like y'all should already know which brand I'm talking about. I'm talking about Adept Cosmetics. This is my makeup palette. I definitely use this at least 2 or 3 times this year. Like the shade Luna is everything. Like this shade right here, Luna, and this shade Selena. Those are my two like most used, if you can't tell. Look how sloppy this looks like. Oh my goodness. I love this palette. I feel like this is great to pair with your Ninhydrin palette. And y'all know Ninhydrin was my palette from them for like the longest time, because I was just like, I can't just, you know, take my hands off Ninhydrin. Whenever I feel like there's a purple look that doesn't like completely do what I want, I know I can go to Ninhydrin. It's gonna give me that oomph, that extra sparkle, that whatever it is I need to make that purple look just pop off and pop out. So Ninhydrin will always have a special place in my heart. But I really liked this makeup palette, and I did end up using it again this year. Matter of fact, I used it for a video. Now these two just recently came out again, so I mean, I was gonna have to use them either way, but I had used them throughout the year and just didn't tell y'all what I was using because I didn't want people to get mad at me and it'd be a whole situation. These are the Christmas collection from, or the holiday collection from Utenzi from 2022. Y'all know I was gonna have to use it again because they're just so fire. So we have Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is definitely giving the more winter, like Wonderland, blue smoky eye color story, if you will. And the shade Gorgeous, well, it's exactly what it's called. It's gorgeous. It just gives the perfect vibe. I love everything about this palette. I think it's a wonderful color story, and I think it's one of those that you can use year round. And that's what I like about their Christmas palettes. I feel like you can use them year round if you look at them a certain way. So next we have Merry Christmas. Believe it or not, I feel like I like Merry Christmas more than I like the Christmas Eve. And I feel like people expecting me to like Christmas Eve better because y'all know I live for blue. I love blue. I don't try to deny or pretend like I don't like blue. I do. I love blue. But I don't know, for some reason I just like this one a little bit more. I guess because it's like, I feel like this is the true like palette you can use year round, because I'm like, you got the greens right here, and I have a whole green monochromatic section. Then you got the reds, and you have unique tones with the reds. Like you got the pink and you got the orange. I recently did a look with this palette like this week and paired it with the Snow Dreams palette to get a nice little look out of them. But yeah, I really like this one over Christmas Eve, and I never thought that I would, but that's what ended up happening. I have used these at least like 2 or 3 times this year. So I paired this one with the Halloween palette, I paired this one with the Snow Dreams palette, and then I did a video on This one comparing it with the Christmas Eve palette. With the Christmas Eve palette, I haven't paired it with the reindeer palette yet. I'm trying to debate if I want to or not. I paired it on camera with you all, but I mean, I haven't like paired it just on my own time yet. I'm trying to debate if I want to or not, but I have used both those palettes this year, which I feel like no one should be surprised by because of the type of color stories that they are and the type of color stories I like. Oh, y'all, I had another palette underneath here I was supposed to pair together. I was trying to keep the brands together, but I did not do a good job because I already showed y'all Glaminatrix once and I'm gonna have to show it again. But oh well. Wow, so it's a lot of the brands. I've used like 2 of each one of the palettes or whatever. So let me just, it's only one brand in here. I only use like 1 of them. Okay. Anyway, so let's show the Glaminatrix palette next. So this is the other Glaminatrix palette I use, the Nearly Natural. Remember I gave y'all a look comparing it and telling you why you didn't need to buy the Manny MUA one with Laura Lee. So this is what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, it has similar colors. It doesn't have exact, but it has similar shades. It didn't have that the more like what was it, the blue purple shimmer shade for the lid and a couple of other shades, but otherwise I feel like that was this palette and they just added a couple more colorful shades to try to be unique from the color story of this because they look so similar. So I gave y'all the video on this. I think I used this one other time, don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure, but I know I did a video on it for sure, so that means I have reached for it again. With the other one, I can name specific looks, but with that one I'm not 100% sure, but because I did use it, I went ahead and, you know, put it in here. So the rest of the brands have like, I have used 2 palettes from each one of the brands except for this one, believe it or not. So this is the Blend Buddy Cosmetics All Done Up palette. This is what she looks like on the inside. Wait, I'm blind. I used the Surge palette this year too, so I have used 2 from this brand. So the rest of them I've used 2 from anyway, but I put the Surge with the one that's on my eyes right now, the Machina palette that they just came out with, because I had to use it as a comparison. I have to take it back home to compare. So that's why it wasn't in this stack, because I was like, I swore I used 2 of just about everything. So anyway, the color story of this is gorgeous. I used this to wear to work one day, and then I remember I did a if you all remember early in the year in my new series called Palettes That Inspire Me, I had used this because I had been inspired to use this palette because I just love the color story of it. The shimmers in this palette for me are what do it. Like, I don't use like shimmers that you put on top of mattes to make them pop, but with these, like, I feel like they just do such a gorgeous job till I'm actually willing to do that, and it's rare if ever that I'm willing to do that. So bravo to them. So let me grab this Surge palette real quick. It's literally on the edge of the bed, so it shouldn't take long. Okay, so we got the Surge palette. I did a eye look with this palette. I love the color story of this. I try not to use it that often though, because I know like she's not bringing it back, but she said there's like some pigments or something that came in. I think it might have been the neon ones, if I remember correctly, that they had ran out of or something to that extent, and that's why you can't get this one anymore. So she had to get rid of this one, and then she got rid of Primal. I forgot what the story was for that, but she tells you in great detail what's going on with the brand and what changes you should expect, which I think is fair as a consumer, because it's like you can prepare, because especially in these times you might not necessarily be able to do something or get something if you really want it. Her telling you gives you the opportunity to do what you need to do to get it, or you know, like whatever the case may be. So I really liked that about it, but I really love the color story of this. I think this was the second palette she came out, which I was here for, because y'all know I like the darks, but I still like these fun neons, and then she gave you pastels. So she gave me all the types of colors I like all in one palette and gave such a beautiful color story, so I had to use it again. Like I said, I have been calming down on using it though, because I don't want nobody to get mad because they can't get it anymore, but you know, like, I have used it this year for sure. Next, I have the Beaute holiday collection from last year. I wonder if they come out with a holiday collection this year, if that red tone palette that they came out with was their holiday collection, because I'm not sure if that was a holiday collection or not, but she did come out. They did come out with a more like berryish tone red tone palette. Kind of reminded me of that red tone palette ABH came out with last year, like the warm tone one, and like that pewter leatherish packaging. I don't remember the name of it because I don't have it, I don't own it, but they came out with that, but I haven't seen them come out with anything else. Anyway, this is the Aura palette. I really like the color story of this. I actually like the color story of this better than the Envy one, and when you see the inside of the Envy one, you'll probably be shocked. But lately I've been like feeling the vibes of these type of color stories, and I feel like to me this is a miniature version of the Paletopoly palette. So when I don't feel like going in the drawer and pulling out that huge palette, I know this smaller one is closer by and I can get similar looks to my Paletopoly palette. So a lot of times that's why I end up reaching for this one. Not that I didn't reach for my Paletopoly palette, because I love that as well, but you know, this one was just a more smaller, friendlier version that didn't require me to dig through my drawers, so I was here for it. Next we have the Envy palette. So this is what it looks like. I know you'd expect me to like this for more because it's green and it's blue, and y'all know that's my color aesthetic and vibes that I live for. But I don't know, lately I haven't been crazy about the blue green palettes. I've been more about like the pinks and like purples and stuff like that. So I don't know what's going on with that, but you know, I still love the color stories of these and still love to look at them. I think I paired this with the other palette and made like a combination look with this and the one I just showed you. I know I did that for a video, but I feel like I've used these other times this year as well. Don't quote me though. Or paired them with other palettes, so that's why they're included here. But I know for a fact I did them for the video. So next, of course, is my, what did I just talk about, my Palettopoly palette. I know when you all told me like they were selling it separately, but it's like it was cheaper to buy with the game. And I'm like, I know it's cheaper to buy with the game because they're really trying to push the game, but it's like I didn't personally want the game. But here's what the color story looks like if you have forgotten. Like, now didn't it look really similar to that palette I just showed you all? Like, mine is like the blues right here, and I feel like these bright pinks, I feel like this is like a really similar color story to that one, like just these like 4 rows right here. So that's why I was like, I kind of reach for that instead when I don't feel like grabbing this whole palette, because it's like it has the majority of the shades that are in here and I can still get great looks. And if I really want some blues to go in my looks, I can just pull out the Envy palette with it and it's still not pulling out this giant palette. Not that I have an issue with palettes this size. It's like when you start getting to like Morphe size, when that Dare to Create palette, the A29 and all the other stuff, that's when I have a whole issue with what's going on with, you know, the palettes and all that. So, but this one works great. I love the quality of it. I love the color story of it. I definitely had to get some more use out of it because the shades in here are just stunning. Now, these 2 palettes came out last year and I was obsessed with them last year, and then I had to make sure that I use them this year because they just pair so beautifully together. So these are my 2 Nomad palettes, like the colorful ones they came out with last year. Honey, I was so excited about these when I saw they were coming out with color, and then they came out back to back color because I feel like this one came out and then this one came out after. So I was like, they were just on the color train and I was riding right along like choo choo, yes, color train. So this is the, what is it, the Paradise Islands palette. Is what she looks like on the inside. If you all remember, I was not crazy about this color story because, I mean, Angelica Nika said the same thing I did. Like, it's more of like a companion palette because there's just a whole bunch of mid-tone. It's like you don't have too much depth. I mean, you have this blue, but it doesn't go that deep, and you have this green that doesn't go that deep. So it's like, if those are the 2 deepest shades I have to use with this palette, this is nothing more than a companion palette. So I think it was smart of them to come out with a palette that had a whole bunch of the different tones in it to pair this palette with, and I paired this palette with it just about every time. So this is the Modern Verte palette. I call it the Costa Rica palette, but this is what it looks like on the inside. Now you see why I paired with the other one, because it has a lot of those nice dark deeper tones to it, and it has some fun bright neons in here. But it's like if you want some more pastel-y shades, or if you want like just some airbrush shades to go with the shades that are in here, I feel like this palette would be perfect for that. So that's why I always find myself pairing these palettes together. I have used this one by itself before, just using like doing a quick monochromatic moment or something where I do like the blue on the outer V or the green on the outer V like I told you all about. But I prefer to pair this one with this one because I feel like they just do such a great job together. I gave you all a whole eye look on why I paired both of these together and how I did an eye look, and I felt like the eye look was fire. And people on Instagram talking about how nice it was and how they liked it, which is why I ended up making the video. Because it's like, I usually don't make videos on Instagram looks unless you all really like it. I was thinking about starting to do that next year though, but I'll save that for the video I was telling you about my plans for 2024. Or I told you I was thinking about doing, because I got a few new products I bought and I want to do a get ready with me talking about it. So we ain't gonna talk about it too much more here. But last brand is of course Ensley Cosmetics. Y'all know I have quite a few palettes from them, so I wanted to, you know, like utilize them. So here is the So Strange palette. This was like the Halloween palette I used the most. I thought I was gonna like the Weirdos the best, but y'all know my story behind the Weirdos. So I ended up using this one a whole lot, and I really like it. So I like the color story that's going on here. They give you like nice grays. They give you a pink and green moment before you make an eye look, and then you get a nice sunset eye look on this side. So with these palettes, what I did was I looked at them like 6-pan shadows. So I looked at them like 6-pan palettes. So when you look at it like that, you can think of an easy color story, and then when you look at it like this, you can think of an easy color story. I did the same thing with the 1964 one. The only one I don't own is the one by Aaliyah. I regret not getting it, but at the same time, I was like, it's a huge warm tone palette, and I knew I wasn't going to like use it, so I didn't end up getting it. But I love the quality of this. I love the color story of this, and I definitely used this throughout this year. I don't think I did a palettes that inspired me video on it, but I know I've paired it with some other palettes along with using it itself this year because I just thought it was a gorgeous palette. The last one I have, of course, again, I feel like you should know what this palette is as much as I've talked about it, raved about it. Wish that she come back with it. She said she wasn't coming back with it. Then she said she was going to do the boxes and the palette from the box, and said she would bring that one back. So I'm like, I'm just waiting to see what's going on. But this is the Vitality palette. I found somebody selling this one on Mercari, and I was like, ooh, yes. What were you thinking? Like, you need to hoard that palette for your life. But this is what it looks like on the inside. It's just a grungy rainbow palette, but y'all know me, I love me a nice little colorful moment, and the fact that there are unique shades of the rainbow in this palette as opposed to the traditional shades I feel like you get in a traditional rainbow palette is what makes this palette so unique and special and lovely to me. So I'm here for it. It's a vibe. She's real cute. I love it. And I used the crap out of this palette. I gave y'all a palette that inspired me video on this. You have not seen it yet. I filmed so many videos that you all haven't seen yet. But my plan is to have them go up in January. So if it snows really bad here in Chicago and I don't feel like being bothered, that I can, you know, already have content going up. And since January is really slow and people don't usually, like, you know, come up with a lot of new makeup, I want to have some stuff already in place for y'all. So that's why you haven't seen that video, along with a few other ones about these palettes that I talked to you about. But those are all the palettes that I used from 2022, my 2022 video. I try to remember to link my 2022 video above, because I'm telling y'all, it was so many palettes in there. But I did honorable mentions and stuff too. And I'm not obviously going to do honorable mentions in here, because just because I still love it, we talking about if I used it from last year when it was an honorable mention. I had a couple more I think I ended up using, but I think I forgot and left them at home. So I'll name them here. It was the Adept Cosmetics holiday collection. I meant to bring that too, and I forgot to bring it. So they had the Metamorphosis palette. If you all remember, it was like the more orangey warm toned one. And then they had the what's that other one? The Evergreen one, which is my personal favorite one, which is more like the Envy palette from Ace Beauty with a pop of purple and a well, no, the bright green is in there, so it's more like that one. I'll try to remember to put them in the reel at the end, showing you all those palettes, because I meant to bring those and I forgot them. So yeah, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all the diamonds. Like I said, I'll link the video up above of all the palettes I tried last year, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe. Be blessed, girl. Bye.